Anxiety, you have really taken your power over me. It's hard to think of another point this year in which I've been scratching my hands and tapping my feet this much. Probably because I haven't. You have damn near paralyzed me. I feel like I have no control over my thoughts, and it's causing me to have brain fog. I don't even want to move right now. I just want to lay in bed and scroll through social media on my phone. But if I do that, then it's only going to amplify the anxiety. I have a million things that I want to do, but I feel too debilitated to do them. And then what's worse is I start getting anxious about feeling anxious. It's a vicious cycle. This anxiety is probably telling me that something within my environment or my actions is wrong, but I can't figure it out when you're simultaneously causing my brain fog. Even though I don't know why this is happening to me, I sure as hell know one thing. I will not allow you to take me over forever, and I'm not gonna allow you to stop me from recording this video like you have this whole day, scrapping this video over and over, rewriting the script, questioning if I should even make this video. No, I'm done with that shit. I know that there's so many different causes of anxiety, but I'm gonna go over the best things that have helped me deal with feeling anxious. First reason why I feel like this is happening to me is because I'm trying to take on too many things at once and trying to get so much done in so little time. I'm so ambitious with my goals with YouTube and everything, and I want to be constantly making more money and become more financially successful because everything I see within social media is all these people doing so well, and then that subconsciously affects me, and I'm like, oh my god, I need to be doing more. There's 16-year-old TikTokers out here making millions of dollars, so why am I not there yet?
Which is just so fucked to me because I'm the spiritual dude. I am a spiritual person, and I'm getting so attached to these material things. I'm getting engulfed by social media. Fuck that shit, man.
There's so much pressure these days to do more with your life, to achieve more, and yes, it is great to have goals and ambitions and a purpose in life that makes you feel meaningful, but when you get caught up in the numbers of all that and get caught up in what people think of you, how many friends you have, just numbers, just materialistic things, then you will never truly feel fulfilled, and you'll always have that anxiousness in the back of your mind. Not having the right values can definitely lead to bad anxiety. So the way I'm trying to deal with this right now is I'm trying to separate myself from the outcome and detach from the outcome with whatever I do. And I think that's a big thing with getting anxiety is you think of the future outcome of things. You think, what is going to happen if I do this? And what if the worst case scenario happens? So a lot of my anxiety has come from a misalignment with what I think I want versus what I truly want, what my intuition, what my gut truly wants in the end. So if you're experiencing a lot of anxiety right now, really question what you're doing and ask yourself, why am I doing this thing? And am I just looking for a result out of this? Or do I genuinely enjoy doing what I want to be doing? I think anxiety can be one of the best indicators. Ironically, the thing that debilitates you and paralyzes you the most is the thing that is trying to get you to do the most action. Anxiety might be a sign, it might be some type of calling that you need to be doing something different from what you're doing. And like I said, for me, it's switching up my values, but it could not just be your values, but instead something like your environment. I find that when I work out or I go for a walk or even just get out of this room, which I'm in so many hours of the day, that it really allows my mind to relax and rethink all of the things that I had been overthinking. I promise you that the solution isn't to sit in your bed and just think about it. The solution is to take some sort of action. And no matter how hard that does seem, because I know it seems super hard right now, when you are anxious, you have to change your environment so that your mental state changes. You have to change up your physical state so that your mental state changes. There's also one thing, I guess you can call it an affirmation, that I always tell myself when I have some anxiousness or depression or just uneasiness within me. And what I tell myself is that what is coming afterwards is a huge transformation of yourself for the better. You know, I talked about this in my Why I Enjoy Suffering video a little bit, but without those lows in your life, without those negatives, you really can't experience the highs. And I think with anxiety, with the uneasiness that you feel, a lot of the times it has spiritual significance, where you're starting to come closer and closer towards a breakthrough in who you are and what you're meant to do. And what comes next is gonna be something incredible for you. Things have been changing for me for a while now with moving into this new house, and I just switching between Airbnbs, being homeless for a small period of time that I was. And all of this is pushing me closer and closer towards the transformation that I'm about to experience. And I know that something good is coming because I have never ever once felt this way and then had it be completely permanent, and have never had anything after this sort of experience be even close to neutral. And what I mean by that is that it's not just going to be okay after this. Something after this is going to cause a huge transformation and a positive shift in your reality. But in the meantime, what are you to do? You may even change your environment, and when you get back to where you were having like severe anxiety, like your bedroom, and you gotta be in there, or you just are alone and you have to be alone, what else can you do to relieve this anxiety? I don't think anything has helped me more with feeling anxious, with dealing with a lot of work, with dealing with a lot of stress and negativity in my life than meditation has. Something I've talked about so much in my videos, but in terms of how it helps anxiety, it might take the cake over everything else that meditation can improve in your life. This is going to be really hard at first, especially for people who are super anxious, but it will work eventually once you get used to meditation. And the best sort of meditation that I recommend for beginners is called mindfulness meditation. And what you do in mindfulness meditation is really just focus on your physical sensations and focus on your breath. When we are anxious, we are very mind oriented and we're very caught up in our mind, and most of our focus isn't within our mind. And meditation can really bring you back to your senses and keep you grounded through just some simple in and outward of your breaths and actually paying attention to that. So I'll help you through this, help you do maybe your first meditation. We'll just do a little short version right now. What I want you to do is pay close attention to the inward and outward of your breath. So let's breathe in, and then let's breathe out. Then I want you to start focusing on everywhere that your body is touching. You might be sitting down. Focus your back against the backrest or your feet on the ground. Then you can start focusing on what you're hearing, the sound of my voice. And as you continue to go through this and continue focusing deeper and deeper on the inward and the outward of your breath, you're going to notice that those thoughts that chatter within your mind starts to quiet itself a little bit. I think meditation really allows you to accept how you're feeling right now, as uncomfortable and uneasy as it may make you feel. If you try to get rid of this sensation, of all of these sensations, then you're gonna feel worse than you do if you just accept it, know that, yes, I am feeling this right now, but I know that this is going to pass, and I know that this is going to lead me to become a better, stronger, more developed person.
This whole time you might have been trying to ignore your anxiety, but the one thing that you needed to do was explore it, which is absolutely super hard because you have to come to terms with the fact that you have to feel and really experience this anxiety for what it is. But that's the only way you can find what's in this anxiety, what the cause of it is, what the triggers are.
Yes, you might still feel pretty awful like I have felt this whole day in these past few days, but it will be easier to cope with if you can just accept the terms and stay optimistic about the future instead of worrying about the worst case scenario. But at the same time, you need to stay realistic, and I do think you need to think out the worst case scenario and the result that that brings, and how much you're overthinking that result that could happen. So if you're worried about something that could happen in the future, let's say you have a test coming up, or you're thinking about talking to that girl or guy that you really like and you want to go up to them and you want to say hi to them, I suggest thinking or writing down what's the worst that could happen in this scenario. Now, with the test version, it could be that you fail. Now, this might be a really important test. You might think that it's the end of the world completely that you failed this test. It might not allow you to get into wherever you're trying to get into. But really, if you were meant to get into or go to whatever place you were or get that good grade, then you would. That's the first thing that you need to tell yourself when you think of the worst case scenario. And second, that yes, this was a failure or a rejection of some sort, and that means that there's something more to learn, which is a completely different change in perspective than what people who are really anxious usually think. When you stop viewing the worst case scenario as terrible and the failures as terrible, and realize that these things can really teach you something and get you and push you closer to the path that you're meant to be on and the person that you're meant to be, then you can stop having so much anxiety over things that will happen in the future. And the question that you're gonna ask yourself after all of those terrible things that are possibly gonna happen in the future is you're gonna ask yourself, is this really what I was so scared of? Thank you all to my patrons on this channel. Patreon is a website where I'm putting out exclusive content and giving one-on-one advice personally. So if you want to check that out, you can go to patreon.com/Cole Hastings. The link is also in the description. And that is going to be it for this video. I hope that this video helped you guys, and I hope that it puts your mind at rest, or it helps break that cycle of being anxious about being anxious. And that'll be it. I'm gonna go try to relax myself a little bit more because I have been feeling definitely on edge and uncertain lately.